presenters make their presentations. So research means, I think research means discovering new knowledge or kind of an original contribution to the existing stuff of knowledge, any branch of knowledge. So I think all of you have made an attempt to make a new contribution to the existing stuff of knowledge. So we would like to start with the first presentation. Ms. Himatika made a presentation on household demand for dairy products in Sri Lanka. So it's time to raise questions. If you have any questions, you can ask from her. She will give answers the questions that you are raising. So I would like to ask Ms. Himatika. Oh no, it's better. Be there. Right. So it's your turn to ask questions. The presentation was household demand for dairy products in Sri Lanka. And almost ideal estimation with the censored regression. Before I would like to ask, what is your dependent variable? You have used an econometric model. I would like to know what is your dependent variable and how we do capture the values of the dependent variable. Probability means probability. Could be 0 or 1 or within 0 and 1. Ordered probability or bivariate probability? Bivariate probability.
Only the binary outcomes 0 and 1. And for the eighth model, use the budget share of the dairy product. That is the dependent variable for the eighth equation. We carried out the product regression in order to overcome the problem of getting erroneous results due to the infrequent consumption. And then those inverse Mills ratios are incorporated into the eighth equation, and that is the equation we carried out actually for the analysis to our study, because we wanted to calculate elasticities. For that, elasticities were calculated using the eighth model.
Do you have any questions for the presentation she made?
No, it's from secondary data. No, we obtained data from the household income and expenditure survey, which was conducted by the Department of Census and Statistics. Yeah.
Is there any more questions? Finally. Yes. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, considered about the demographic factors as well. From that, we considered several demographic factors, but for the purchasing decision of dairy product, there will be a significant impact from only the if there are children in a family, or from the prevalence of blood pressure. From only those variables, there will be a significant impact for the purchasing decision of the dairy product. From other variables, there is no any significant impact.
Any other questions? So, the presentation was on household demand for dairy product. I think she has used the country data which have been collected by Census and Statistics Department. But my personal view is better to collect your own data, that means primary data, if you are going to estimate demand function on this particular sector. The thing is the official data are not that much reliable. Right? It's better to collect, better to use primary data. Then you will be able to discover something new. So let's move to the next presentation. The next presentation was on Mr. Aryadas made a presentation on poverty perception, private Sri Lankan children's homes at multiple levels. So, this is not that much related to the subject of economics anyway. It will also connect social sciences. I heard that you used a kind of model in your research study. Am I correct?
Kind of model in the sense, today I have been discussing during my presentation. I will be discussing capability approach.
Capability approach of gateway sense? No.
Here, Amartya Sen, which was influenced by Mata Nasran, theory of justice, where she discussed about 10 fundamental capabilities, and which was influenced by Stiglitz norms of on subjective and objective well-being. So finally, I was discussing about the theoretical framework. So I will use this capability approach to introduce this theoretical framework, where I will use this frame as a tool to propose the model that I am going to propose to reintegrate the institutionalized children with their families.
Right. So, as I do believe, a model means whatever kind of tool or whatever kind of device which helps us to recognize the hidden tool. Any model should be able to help us to identify the leading tool. So it could, a model could be an econometric model, or it could be a mathematical model, it could be any other kind of dynamic model. Whatever the form of the model, it should be able to give us a kind of help to discover the input. So in that sense, I couldn't see any side of a model in your presentation. That is why I want to raise this question.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Now, in my methodology, I interviewed service providers and policymakers. Then I rated their responses into several themes. Out of them, I found 6 major themes, 6 axial themes. One of which, the major theme was the reintegration factor. Reintegration means the institutionalization here should be minimum to its periods, but most of the policymakers and service providers were telling that children should be reintegrated with their natural birth environment, or they should be adopted so as to find with a permanent alternative care. And these 6 major, so I was just telling about the first major theme, that is the reintegration, and then the other theme was the health factor, and next was the safety factor, and came the education factor, which has 3 segments: formal education, non-formal education, and the vocational training. So I came up with these 6 major axial themes, and it was found that the human rights and their children's human rights and their needs have not been properly addressed in these institutions, which are responsible for institutional care of children. And then I compared my finding of these 6 major axial themes with the capabilities approach, where Amartya Sen says the income, and he emphasized on what people can do with their income, not what they could buy with their income. And this particular capabilities approach was quite related to my findings. That's the exact reason why I decided to use capabilities approach as a theoretical framework. And when it comes to Mata Nussbaum, who proposed 10 fundamental capabilities as a theory of justice, which is again based on the human rights aspect, and it can also be used as a policy making, as a tool for policy making. So, sorry for taking such a long time, which I couldn't describe during my presentation. So my model for it's kind of a framework that I'm going to use to build up the model to reintegrate, because the major thing that major factor policymakers and the service providers are emphasizing is on reintegration, not institutionalization. Thank you.
Do you have any questions?